I couldn't stop writing this column. It really just came to me, and it's called Requiem for an Outlaw. One of my fellow suburban outlaws recently rode off into the sunset. Sherry fought a long, hard battle against cancer for 9 years, using her 6-shooter of grit and faith to combat everything that came her way. I'm sure she's doing her outlaw thing in heaven, beating the angels at tennis before corralling them into a glass of wine. Sherry and I met at a mutual friend's party. We had both moved here from other cities. We both had left behind our chosen family, our girlfriends, and were searching for new blood. Uprooted after 16 years, I knew that my husband would be fine. He had work, and my kids would be fine. They had school. But I had to start all over again. There was an upside. Since no one knew me, people might think I was intellectual and charming. At first, Sherry's grown-up demeanor and chic hair and makeup intimidated me. I also wasn't prepared when, upon introducing herself, she mentioned she had colon cancer. But something even larger was looming. A few years before, one of my closest friends in D.C. had died suddenly at the age of 35, and I was still reeling from that loss. She was so compelling that I decided I couldn't be afraid of befriending her. Besides, if I limited my friends to those who weren't going to die, I'd be mighty lonely. Sherry fit cancer in between raising her children, running her household, and playing competitive tennis. It was just another aspect of her life, but she used it as a springboard to motivate others. She started a foundation called Embracing Hope to raise money for cancer research. In her spare time, she wrote about her cancer in a book she published, Glass Houses, which brutally and honestly describes how a 36-year-old woman with 3 young children copes with a diagnosis of stage 4 colon cancer and learns to live. I thought the word inspirational was overused until I met Sherry. The thing is, she didn't set out to be inspirational. It wasn't just her fight against cancer that inspired me. It was her incredible energy, her commitment to parenting. She knew that raising her children was the best thing she would ever do, and her loving partnership with her husband. She fought for normalcy, showing that you could have cancer and still be a great wife and mother and friend. She taught me that it's okay to ask friends for help, requesting rides to her treatments or dinners for her family when she was having a rough day, and she returned the favors unasked if you were in need. So when my daughter had her tonsillectomy, just after Sherry had come out of the hospital, dinner was on my doorstep that night. Another friend told me that when she came home from her husband's knee surgery, dinner magically showed up on her doorstep. And that was 3 weeks before Sherry died. She did make me a believer of sorts. I believed in her and believed that she would win her battle. I was her delusional friend, the one that she could talk to about her next treatment plan and who absolutely believed it would succeed. Her hair was still beautiful, so she would be fine, right? I didn't figure that constant morphine was not a good sign. Now I understood that I wasn't delusional. She had given me faith. I got the call late at night in a hotel room in Tampa. I knew something was wrong just by the late hour. I sat in the bathroom to cry so I wouldn't wake my children. I'd been scheduled to pick Sherry up for a manicure when I arrived home, and there was still a message on the machine from the night before we had left on vacation. In a weak, raspy voice, but still talking fast, she told me she would see me when I returned and to enjoy my children and our time together in the sun. The night we returned home, I took my children to temple, and I said the mourner's prayer for my Catholic friend. I found comfort in those words for perhaps the first time. I am so glad Sherry picked me to be her friend. She chose carefully, making sure her friends were the kind of people who would treat her like a regular person, laughing and drinking with her at sunset. Goodbye, outlaw. I hope the angels can keep up with you. That's it. Okay, let's have a drink.